We all understand the importance of optimizing our work and making sure our content stands out. And one important way to optimize your content is to use SEO, which means that your content utilizes keywords so that search engines can share your content with more people. And we all want more people. So SEO is so important, and I decided we needed to do a series where I share my SEO knowledge with you. And I'm going to put a little plug in here. I am not like the tech guru of SEO, but I do know what I'm talking about. I've been around it for a really long time. And so this is going to be a 3-part series where we discuss finding keywords, setting up your site for SEO, and how to utilize SEO in your content. So let's start with finding keywords, because it can be both time consuming and expensive, but it doesn't have to be to start out. Yes, there is a place when those time consuming and expensive techniques are beneficial, but for us creators, entrepreneurs just starting out, don't have tons of money, it doesn't need to be a big process. You can do it with very little things. So I am just going to hurry and kind of walk you through my process. You will be able to find, because this is just a podcast episode, I'm going to do a YouTube video on how I find my keywords. And so I'm just going to kind of talk you through it on here. But if you actually want to see it in action, I will have a video coming out soon. I will link to it with that. So what I do is, again, I'm trying to use as free, inexpensive as possible. And I have done this for years, guys. And I get decent traffic. And I mean, it fluctuates, right? It fluctuates with what's happening, what year, what time of season it is, what people are searching for. And that really just comes out to like what content you're creating to fill those seasons. But that's like a whole nother thing. We should probably do another podcast episode about that. But we are just talking about finding the keywords. So I have a Google Sheet, first off, that automatically creates for me inside of Zapier. That's a whole nother story as well. But I have this sheet that helps me organize my keywords. And so with it, though, I'm going to hurry and put a little plug in here that my new business called tjic.com is an app right now. It's probably in beta right now when this is airing, that it will help you organize all this beforehand. So it's not all these spreadsheets, not all these docs. It's all in one place. So be sure to check that out. Okay, back to this though. So I have a spreadsheet that I keep things organized. Now, you need to do keyword research for different things. Now, if you are doing it on your website, where's the traffic coming from? It's coming from Google. It's coming from search engines. So we need to go check that out on these search engines. If you are doing YouTube, which I recommend doing both at the same time, makes it super easy, you're going to go to YouTube and do it. And there's platforms for that. So I'm going to hurry and just kind of tell you what those are. Now, the free one, or basically free one that I use, it is a Google extension, and it is called Keywords Everywhere. There's other ones as well, but I find this one very beneficial. You just purchase credits, and I think if I remember correctly, like what I purchased is $10, maybe $15, and it lasts me for the whole year. So I just make sure you have like an on-off switch when you are not using it for SEO purposes. Just turn it off so that way it's not gathering data for you every time you do a Google search. So this is just in the background. And then what you'll do is you'll type into Google whatever you're working on. So I'm going to do DIY planter box because it's the one I normally always do because it's so popular. And what it does is it pops up your normal view, right, that you normally see when you search for something. But then it tells you some important information with it. It tells you the volume of search per month for that item. And so you can start scrolling through here and it gives you related keywords. People also ask. inside of the keywords everywhere. It shows up on the right-hand side of your screen as you're doing this. But the thing that I like doing is seeing what actually shows. But when you type in the search bar at the very top of Google, you'll type it in. So we typed in DIY planter box. Before you hit enter, Google itself starts listing relative stuff in there, like related stuff. And so with this keywords anywhere, it also shows next to it the search volume. So you can start gauging what is more popular just based off this. You don't even have to hit enter yet, and it's telling you data. So then you can hit enter, you can select one of these other ones and hit enter and go into it. So that just starts you in that realm of looking for things. Something else that's important is Google puts in people also ask as you scroll down a little bit. And this is inside Google itself. You should take into account what these are saying. Google is telling you that this is important. This is what people are searching for. So these are questions that you should be answering inside your article, your post, your project, whatever it is. You should be answering these questions. Maybe even doing a whole nother article on just this question. So just keep that in mind. Also, as you're scrolling through here, you're going to be looking at what's ranking already. Do you have a chance to rank? And this comes into play of a Moz score or a DA. It's the Moz DA score is the one that I use. And so what this is domain authority. And Google hasn't come out and said that it's important, but let's be honest, if you have more domain authority, you're going to be ranked higher. So for example, in this DIY planter box one, Home Depot is number one, and they have at this time a 90 over 100 DA score. So they're like 90. So that's really high DA score. YouTube, side note with this, has 100 over 100 because it's Google's product. Of course, they're going to give it 100. So that is number 2. So you ready for that? Like, if you can get ranked well inside of YouTube, it shows up too inside of Google. So just as a side note with that. And then you'll just keep scrolling. Like, what else do you have? You'll look at these people that are showing up. What are they titling stuff? You can get into more detail and go into what are they talking about. But I really just go for what's the title? What are people kind of searching for? What are they missing out on? And I just kind of start here. This gives me a very good idea of the keywords that I need to be targeting in my title, and I will write my title from that. And I'll also take those keywords and make sure they're inside the content as well, but we'll talk about that more in another session of this. So that is how you easily do that. For YouTube, there's 2 that I use. One is called TubeBuddy. They're both TubeBuddy is a paid service, and so is vidIQ is the other one. But you can do vidIQ for free as well. And so what you'll do is just the same thing that we just did inside of the Google search, but this time you're doing it on YouTube. So DIY planter box is what I'm typing in, and it will start showing me the search volume. It's going to tell you the overall score, like the volume, like the search volume. What are your chances of getting ranked? It will tell you also, and I'm not sure like which one's which on here that's showing me this, but a good rule of thumb here. And I don't know, again, if this is for my paid stuff. I'm trying to figure that out right now. But below mine, it shows the subs that a channel has and then the views that the video has. And something that's really important here is to look at if the views are higher than the amount of subs that someone has. And I mean, as the video gets older, you're going to get more views. So if a video is even newer, like this one right here that I'm looking at, is called Simple Cedar Planter Box, free plans. This person has 58,000 subscribers. But this video was posted a year ago and it has 372,000 views. So this shows me that this is a very good one to look at and get information for. I can keep going on this too. Like the next one too also does like the same thing. So just something to kind of note there as you're looking at planning your keywords is just kind of see what's working. Again, see what keywords you could be doing. Use these tools that help you make this easier for you. And again, I'm pretty sure this is vidIQ's free stuff that's popping up for me right here. So I could be wrong, but I'm pretty positive that's what it is. So just do that free stuff. It's super easy. Another thing that's free is called Google Search Console. And what this does is you need to, from your website, you need to, if you don't have it already, you need to put a sitemap on here so that it can track your website. And you should have it in here because this is actually how Google figures out what's on your site and puts it onto search and all that fun stuff. So make sure that you put your sitemap on here. And if you don't know how to do that, research it. There's lots of tutorials out there. If you really get stuck, just let me know and we can talk about it. So you'll put your sitemap on there, and then there's different tabs on the left-hand side. You're going to go to performance, and then search results is the one that you're going to go into and click on it. It's going to tell you in the last 3 months is what it's filtered automatically. Here's your total clicks, your impressions, your click-through rate, and your average position on Google. So this is pretty cool. What I like to do is I'm going to select all 4 to be showing, because not all 4 of those ones that I just named are showing. But if you scroll down too, it will tell you different top queries. So this is like, what are people searching for? And it will tell you, like in mine, for this site that I'm looking at, like my top one with the top impressions and the top clicks is my wood conditioner before stain. And I have a click-through rate of 25%, and I'm in position 1.4, which means I'm normally on position 1, but I could be position 2. That's what that's saying on Google. I'm page 1 or page 2, or not page 2. I'm number 1 or number 2, not pages. I think it's like the top 10 are page 1, and then after that, it's like you have to scroll. Now it's just continuous scrolling. Google changed that, but so it tells you also what position you are inside the search. So like when we went to Google and we're searching and Home Depot was that number 1, in this term, I am number 1. So this tells you kind of also if you want to go back and update old blog posts or old posts that you have, this is a great way to see what is working well for you. And maybe you don't even have an article on one of these terms. Maybe you just mention it somewhere. You should probably create an article from this. So that's just a little side note with it. But you can search top pages through here. So what's your top pages and impressions and what position you are. Your goal is to try to be top 10 with most of your stuff. So like some of these I need to go back through again because somebody probably is outranking me again and I need to try to get a little higher. And sometimes that would just be creating a core around this content where think of it like a tree. So like this is the main one that I started, and I'm going to branch off that supports this item. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, we can go into more detail with it too, because that's like a whole nother thing, because we're just talking about finding keywords. So this is another way just to find keywords on what to write about that you're already ranking for. So don't forget about this one. It's a great resource for you as well. So that was Google Search Console. But that is how I do my keyword research. That's as simple as it is for me. You can get more intense with it. You can go into more, I feel like they're like almost rabbit holes, but honestly, like they're really good tech behind it. But for me, I get stuck because I just keep going. So for me to just be able to quickly determine stuff and move forward is the best thing for me. But you decide what's best for you. This is just the simple, easy way that I do. And again, I'm just using Google with a very inexpensive keyword everywhere extension is what I'm using for this. And so I hope that helps you. And again, we discussed how to find your keywords. And I just want you to be able to rank as high as possible in the search engines because, okay, another note here, because I feel like we just have to. If you are just on social media, so Instagrammers, if you're just there, you are missing out on an opportunity by not having your own blog, not sharing articles or things about it. You are missing out on a lot of things there. If you are just on YouTube, same thing, you're missing out. I make good money off my blog just from ads. And I still it's passive. You know what? We're going to do a podcast about that because I'm not sharing content all the time. It's passive income at some points because come on, I have 3 businesses. So I just want to put that little nugget in there. SEO is so important in having your website that people can find over and over again is very, very good. So remember that keywords are essential in this SEO process to help you optimize your content. And don't worry, we're going to be talking about optimizing your content and your website in the next 2 parts of this series, the 3-part series. And so I just wanted to encourage you to go take a look at what we talked about. And again, what we talked about was keywords everywhere and Google Search Consult. And if you're doing the YouTube stuff, that was vidIQ was the free one that I was kind of telling you about more so. But those are actually worth paying for. I will put a little nugget in there, but you don't have to. So there you go. And with that, I will see you in the next SEO part of the series.